Listen, some people believe they're boring. They think silence is their destiny. But let me tell you this. The only reason you ever run out of things to say is because you too focused on yourself instead of the person in front of you. Conversation isn't a talent, it's a skill, and skills can be trained. If you master just 3 hacks, you'll never be the quiet one in the room again. Hack number 1. Curiosity over perfection. Ask questions that go beyond yes or no. Instead of, do you like music? Ask, what's the song that never leaves your playlist? People love to share stories. Give them the stage. Hack number 2. Connect through relatability. Find common ground, even in the smallest details. If someone says they love coffee, you can say, man, coffee isn't just a drink, it's fuel for my soul too. Now you're not just talking, you're vibing. Hack number 3. Add value. Don't drain energy. Bring something into the conversation, an insight, a funny take, or even just genuine enthusiasm. Energy is contagious. When you lift the room lifts you back. Remember this. The best conversationalists aren't the ones who talk the most. They're the ones who make others feel heard, understood, and inspired. So stop worrying about running out of words. Start focusing on creating moments. Because words fade, but the feeling you give someone, that lasts forever. Running out of things to say is not destiny, it's a mindset. Silence doesn't mean you are boring. It simply means you are focusing too much on what to say next, instead of being present in the moment. Great conversations don't come from memorized lines. They come from genuine curiosity, from listening with intent, and from allowing yourself to respond naturally. When you shift the focus from yourself to the person in front of you, something powerful happens. You stop fearing the pause. You stop worrying about being judged. You begin to see every word, every story, every smile as an opportunity to connect. The truth is, people don't remember flawless speeches. They remember how you made them feel. If you can make someone feel heard, seen, and valued, you will never truly run out of things to say. Conversation is a skill, not a talent. Anyone can master it. You are not born with the perfect words. You are not born knowing how to keep the flow alive. But you can learn, you can practice, and you can grow. Just like learning to ride a bike or play an instrument, conversation gets better the more you do it. At first, it feels awkward. You stumble, you pause, you overthink. But with time, you begin to relax. You learn to listen deeply instead of waiting for your turn to speak. You learn to ask questions that invite stories, not just short answers. You discover the rhythm of back and forth, the balance between speaking and listening, and then something shifts. You realize the power isn't in having the perfect words. It's in creating a connection. And that is a skill anyone can master. Shift focus from yourself to the other person. Most people run out of words because they're trapped in their own head. They're busy thinking, what do I say next? What if I sound awkward? What if I'm not interesting enough? But conversation isn't about performing, it's about connecting. The moment you place your attention on the other person, the pressure starts to fade. Listen to their tone, their expressions, the energy behind their words. Notice what excites them, what makes them light up, what stories they lean into. When you do that, the conversation writes itself. Instead of scrambling for clever lines, you simply respond to what's already there. And suddenly, it feels effortless. People love to feel understood. They love to feel seen. Hack number 1, use curiosity. Ask open-ended, story-inviting questions. Curiosity is the fuel of every great conversation. When you only ask questions that can be answered with yes or no, the dialogue dies quickly. But when you ask questions that open a door, people step through it with their stories, their passions, their experiences. Instead of asking, do you like movies? Try, what's the movie that changed the way you see life? Instead of, do you like music? Try, what song has stayed with you for years? These kinds of questions don't just fill the silence. They spark emotion. They invite memories. They create moments that connect you far beyond small talk. The beauty of curiosity is that it makes the other person feel important. It shows you care. And when people feel valued, they open up. That's when real conversation begins. Hack number 2. Create relatability. Find common ground, even in small details. Connection doesn't always come from big, dramatic stories. Sometimes it's the little things that bring people closer. If someone says they love coffee, and you say, "Me too. I can't start my day without it," suddenly, you've created a bond. If they mention a city they visited, and you share a memory from that place, you've built a bridge. Relatability is powerful because it reminds us we're not alone. It tells the other person, "I get you. I felt that too." Even small details can spark big conversations. A favorite food, a shared habit, a common struggle, all of these can become threads that tie people together. The more common ground you find, the easier the conversation flows. And once you've built that connection, silence no longer feels empty, feels comfortable. Hack number 3. Add value, share energy, insights, or humor. Every conversation is an exchange. You can either give life to it or drain it. When you bring energy, people feel it. When you share insights, people learn something new. When you add humor, people relax and open up. Adding value doesn't mean you need to be a comedian or a genius. It simply means offering something that makes the moment brighter, lighter, or more meaningful. You might share a story that taught you a lesson. You might give a perspective that opens someone's mind. Or you might just laugh at yourself and show that it's okay to be human. The key is to contribute, not just consume. Because when people walk away from a conversation feeling uplifted, inspired, or entertained, they'll always want to come back for more. The best conversationalists listen more than they speak. It may sound surprising, but it's the truth. People often think being good at conversation means having the smartest words, the funniest jokes, or the most interesting stories. But real connection is built through listening. When you listen, you give the other person space to express themselves. You allow them to feel seen, to feel valued, to feel important. And that feeling is what makes conversations unforgettable. Listening doesn't mean staying silent without care. It means being present, nodding, responding with genuine interest, and asking thoughtful questions that show you truly heard them. It means putting aside the urge to dominate and choosing instead to connect. Because when people walk away from a conversation thinking, "Wow, they really understood me," they won't remember how much you talked. They'll remember how deeply you listened. Energy and enthusiasm keep conversations alive. Words on their own can fall flat, but the way you deliver them can change everything. A simple story told with excitement feels engaging. Basic idea shared with passion feels inspiring. Your energy sets the tone for how others respond. If you bring dullness, the dialogue will fade. But if you bring enthusiasm, the room lights up. People are naturally drawn to those who radiate life, curiosity, and joy. Even small sparks of enthusiasm like a smile, a lively tone, or genuine interest can turn an ordinary chat into something memorable. Energy is contagious. When you lift the mood, others mirror it back to you. That back and forth flow is what keeps the conversation moving. So don't just focus on what to say, focus on how you say it. Because your energy is the heartbeat of connection. Great conversation builds connection, not just words. It's not about showing off knowledge or speaking endlessly. It's about creating a moment where two people truly meet. Words are the bridge, but connection is the destination. You can say very little and still leave someone feeling closer to you. Or you can talk for hours without ever creating real meaning. The difference lies in intention. When you focus on connecting, you listen more deeply. You respond with empathy. You share stories that reveal something genuine about yourself. You let the other person feel safe enough to do the same. Great conversation is less about clever lines and more about shared humanity. It's when laughter flows naturally, when silence feels comfortable, and when both people walk away feeling lighter. Because in the end, it's not the words themselves, it's the bond they create. What people remember isn't what you said, it's how you made them feel. Words fade with time. The exact sentences you spoke will blur and disappear. But the emotion you created in someone that lingers. If you made them feel valued, they'll carry that warmth long after the conversation ends. If you made them feel inspired, they'll remember the spark you lit inside them. If you made them laugh, they'll recall the joy you brought into their day. That's the true power of conversation. It's not about being perfect. It's not about always knowing the clever response. It's about leaving people better than you found them. Because when someone walks away thinking, "I feel good around this person," they won't need to remember your words. They'll remember your presence. They'll remember the feeling. And that is what lasts forever. So the next time you step into a conversation, Don't worry about running out of words. Don't chase perfection. Focus on curiosity. Focus on relatability. Focus on adding value, bringing energy, and truly listening. This conversation isn't about filling. Silence is about creating connection. And when you shift from trying to impress to trying to connect, you'll never run out of things to say. You'll walk away not just with words spoken, but with bonds built. And that, my friends, is the real power of conversation.